Hey, so Genshin Impact is almost 5 years old at this point, and despite little improvements like the Chronicled Wish and reducing the amount of fate points on the weapon banner, the game still feels worse than similar gacha games. So in this video, I'll only be comparing Hoyoverse titles and what Genshin Impact could learn from them that could bring back the game to a wider audience or help players return from burnout. I know this video won't reach anyone associated with Hoyoverse, but nonetheless, I wanna list a couple of improvements that could be added to Genshin Impact. Recently, Honkai Star Rail added a triple rerun banner alongside new characters to help players get previous characters and not wait a year before the rerun. Now, hold your horses, I know the Chronicle Wish exists, but it's such a bad banner. The only upside is that it reruns more characters, but at the cost of it rerunning not so often. So why not make the Chronicled Wish not region themed and make it something like the Honkai Star Rail banner with the amount of characters in game? It's shitty to wait 20 to 30 days for a support or a sub DPS or a main DPS rerun, while there are two characters of the same category on the banner. For example, as of making this video, we have a Chlorant and an Arlecchino banner, which I believe is just horrible pairing. Yes, the Chronicled Wish exists, but it features Baizhi, who's a support, Shanha, who's a support, Keqing, who's a main DPS, Ganyu, who's a main DPS, Qiqi, who's a support, Child, who's a main DPS, and Xiao, who's also a main DPS. And it features free shield-based weapons, free crit-based weapons, and an attack weapon, and only 2 support weapons. In addition, none of the 5-star characters can be paired really, besides Baizhi, I guess, and Shenhe and Ganyu too. I will not be touching upon 4-star characters, since you can get them at any time of day on the standard banner or by losing the 50-50 on the limited banner, so they're not really limited. Now I'll propose a simple fix to the banners. First, either make the Chronicled Wish rerun every version for one half of the version and don't make it regional themed. For example, have 4 limited 5-star characters and weapons and 3 standard 5-star characters or weapons. The fate system is good, I guess, since you can lose the 50-50 to a limited time character and the gacha has to be profitable to the company, so you cannot go really overboard. Or finally, we could keep the Chronicled Wish banner as it is and add a 3rd or a 4th rerun banner, since it sucks waiting years for a specific character to rerun. And the argument of not being able to keep up is just stupid, since even in double banners, if 2 of your favorite characters rerun, it's a problem. More banners fix this issue, since you can skip one of your desired characters and wait for the rerun, for example 2 or 4 months instead of waiting for a year. Like, I don't get the issue of too many characters. I believe it's good. You're not forced to get 2 of your desired character at the same time, just wait for a rerun. I'm looking at you, Kokomi. Look, I know we just had Lantern Ride, but in the case of 4 stars, they need constellations to be good, for the most part. We did see a huge improvement with the anniversary free 5-star pick event, but I believe we should go in the Honkai Star Railway again, and every 2 to 3 versions provide players with a free 4-star pick event. Not a big one like in Lantern Ride, but 4 stars to choose from. That will help new players with getting new characters and help mid to end game players max out their constellations. And while we're on the topic of events, aren't exclusive 4-star weapons kind of unfair? Let's say during the usual 14 days of the weapon event is live, my internet shut off, or I didn't have power for whatever reason, or I cannot play for these 14 days. Now, there's no way for me to get that weapon. What if there was a way to replay or re-experience these old events? And again, Honkai Star Rail already addressed this issue with the Herta shop, but in Genshin we don't have that. But heck, the weapons aren't even my main point here. Some events gave us huge lore drops and stuff. Why not add a permanent event archive, which you could use free story keys to unlock a weaker version of an event? For example, Nikkei does this in a way where you can obtain some event cards and soundtrack and replay the whole story of an event. Honkai Star Rail has some permanent events with less rewards than during when it was live, same with Xenozone Zero. I guess if they would want to make the weapons feel more exclusive for players who got them during the event, you maybe couldn't get refinement materials when doing those archived events. Or I could see event weapons being put in Paimon's bargains if there's no way to bring back old events, because the weapons these events gave out are great, some even best in slot for some characters, or some being just great in general for our characters, notably the Festering Desire or the Calamity of Eshu when run with a shielder. For example, the Cinnabar Spindle is great for Albedo, and as a defense percent stat sword, it can be used on Silonen as well, and I'm sure the rest of the event weapons can be great for free-to-play players for some characters. The standard banner in Genshin feels old-fashioned. There's no free pick after 300 pulls like in games like GFL2, HSR, ZZZ, or a guarantee 50 pull first 5-star like in WUA, HSR and ZZZ. I think new players should get more free stuff as well as freshen up the standard banner with the 300 pull free pick. I would fix the standard banner with getting rid of Noelle as a 100% rate up character and make the beginner wish be 50 pulls for your first 5-star like in most new gen gacha games nowadays. Also, I believe it's been long enough to add free 5-star picker after 300 pulls like almost all Hoyo gachas have at this point. Finally, I'd like to talk about my personal idea. That would be the fate point system on the standard banner. I know this sounds crazy and all, but imagine if you could set the character or weapon you want to get on the standard banner and never get it on your next 5-star pull, or lose the 50-50 on the standard banner and get a fate point, which would guarantee the next 5-star to be the one you chose in the fate point system. This would help a ton of players either get some good standard banner weapons like the primordial Jadewing Spear, or the lost prior to the Sacred Winds, or to get constellations for a C6 Jin or a C6 Tighnari. With almost every gacha game featuring a stamina reserve system, I don't see why Genshin shouldn't add one. I know how frustrating it is to not have enough resin, and when you want to take a break there's not even a bit of additional resin saved up somewhere. I guess only the Solar Reunion does help with its fragile resins and double domain drops, but that's not too helpful. Here's how I'd imagine the resin reserve system. It will be just like in any game, like ZZ, HSR, GFL2, WUA, where over time if you reach the resin cap, it will regen at a slower rate into reserve, so you don't have to log in every 24 hours and treat this game like a job. While writing of the script, we actually might finally get this in the game, where there won't be a specific time to farm talent materials for weapons and characters, and apparently they're thinking of a solution to the weekly boss drops, so you won't have to wait a week to get the boss drops you want. The weekly boss have a simple solution, to be honest. Just guarantee us one dream solvent after the weekly boss fight and change the way we can claim weekly domains, put a cap on claiming in general, don't limit it to just one domain a week, because trust me, I don't need the Valen and Andreas rewards as I need Aulekino or a pep drops. Not a lot of players enjoy sitting through and clicking a dialogue they have no interest in. Now, I know it sounds silly that why are they playing in the first place if they don't care about lore, but believe it or not, a large sum of players care about other aspects of the game like exploration, combat and building their characters. I added this segment here since HSR announced some skip option in the game and ZZZ has a skip button. And lastly, I'm only comparing Wuthering Waves here as a competitor, not this or that better argument, but even they have a skip button. And yes, Genshin does have a skip button, believe it or not, but it's only for companion quests, you know, the thing nobody uses and forget about. So if there's a skip button in the game already, I don't think it'd be too hard to add into arcane quests or events. Again, back to the HSR tweet and how they plan to make older characters feel comparable to the new ones. To avoid power creep, we don't know how exactly they'll do this, but Genshin for sure needs something like that. For example, Venti, the big Anemo Archon, who's supposed to be a CC support, and a newer character like Kazuha, who can pull bigger units that Venti can't. I don't want some big changes, just small stuff like make Venti's burst pull all units except bosses into the vortex and boom, he'd already be a good CC support unit. That's all I can think about that could make Genshin better and feel fresh with new gachas approaching like Arknight's Enfield, Antana and other gachas. I think it could make Genshin still feel like a good gacha to play and feel rewarding. But hey, what do you think? Are these changes good? What would you add to Genshin or change? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe someone agrees with you or disagrees. Anyway, have a wonderful day and see ya!